As you can see from the photographs, there's limited physical damage other than the catastrophic failure of the lid, and no indication of any sustained fire in the area. The victim likely died of blunt force trauma and also suffered thermal injuries consistent with steam burns. There are various possible scenarios to explain the sudden buildup of pressure inside the filter housing. A possible scenario we are investigating is an internal explosion inside the filter. The filter was being returned to service after a filter element change and had just been refilled with process water, as specified in the startup procedure. Witnesses told the CSB this process water sometimes contained hydrogen, flammable light hydrocarbons, and hydrogen sulfide, a toxic and flammable gas. These substances are a possible fuel for an explosion in the presence of oxygen and an ignition source. Fuel, oxygen, and an ignition source form the so-called fire triangle. We therefore plan to test the process water to determine its composition and flammable characteristics, and to also examine historical data about the presence of hazardous materials in the process water. Typically, in refinery service, when flammables may be present, it is critically important to remove oxygen to avoid fires and explosions. We are examining BP's procedures and practices to understand if air may have, in fact, remained in the filtration system. In addition, we plan to test the filter housing for any residues of pyrophoric materials. These substances that can combust spontaneously on contact with air and can form in the presence of hydrogen sulfide. Other scenarios have not been ruled out, and the investigation is in a very early stage. These include a sudden pressure increase of undetermined origin within the unit equipment, causing the failure of the lid. Our investigation is focusing on better understanding exactly what happened on January 14th and determining the existing good practices, what the existing good practices are in the refining industry for managing these kinds of hazards. We are requesting a variety of documents from BP, such as operating and maintenance procedures. We are also examining how process design changes are managed in this unit and researching previous incidents involving similar hazards here and at other facilities. Typically, these are lengthy investigations requiring many months to complete, leading to a written report with safety recommendations. Thank you. Mr. Ward.
Thanks, John. I thank you, Don, and I thank all the investigators for their efforts here over the past 3 weeks. The CSB team anticipates completing its initial field work this week and continuing the investigation from other locations around the country. We will provide further updates to the public and the industry as warranted. Thank you all for attending this morning. And now Mr. Holstrom and I would be pleased to answer your questions. We would first like to take questions from the reporters here in the room and then proceed later to take any questions from the telephone audience. Please state your name and affiliation as you begin. Yes. Thank you.
Kristen Hayes with the Houston Chronicle. 41 deaths in 32 years. Is that unprecedented to your knowledge compared to any other refinery in the U.S.?
Don,
sure. We don't have statistics on the number of deaths in refineries over that time period, but it's certainly a very high number of fatalities.
Yeah. Sheila McNulty, the Financial Times. I just wondered if you had the feeling when you went back into the facility that not enough was improved since the previous accident.
Well, anytime there's a horrible accident, certainly we're going to be examining not only the immediate events that led to the incident in question, but examining safety systems and how they performed in relationship to the incident. Root causes that are determined by the board are typically safety system deficiencies that lead to these type of incidents, and we're going to be examining those very thoroughly. And certainly, as you know, we've issued a very comprehensive report in relationship to the 2005 isomerization incident, and with extensive discussion of not only safety system deficiencies, but safety culture problems and other related safety failures. And at this point, it's too early to speculate about what systems may have been involved, but we will certainly thoroughly examine those issues.
I would just add to that. I would add to that BP has, we've made recommendations to API regarding trailer siting, and those are they've been implemented. They are making improvements. How much farther they have to go is a matter of speculation. I would say that one of the recommendations of the Baker panel report was that BP become a leader in process safety, be an example nationally for the industry. And we still think that that's a good recommendation, and we hope that sometime in the future that will be the case. Yes, ma'am.
Laurel Calkins with Bloomberg News. This is for Don. When you first returned, though, you do this every day. You spend your life in refineries. Had you hoped to see more improvement at that facility since you were there last?
Yeah, I mean, what we're investigating right now is the causes related to this particular incident, and it's too soon to tell, as I said, what safety systems may have been implicated. And certainly, as Mr. Wark has indicated, we know that there have been some improvements made in response to our recommendations, and other recommendations are in the process of being, responses are in the process of being reviewed. And we have a recommendations department in our agency that's on an ongoing basis pursuing the successful implementation of our recommendations. And so that process is ongoing as well, both those made to BP and to other parties such as API and OSHA, et cetera. So that's an ongoing process. It's too soon to make any references between this incident and the causes that may be related to the ISOM incident.
Yes, sir.
Not with KTRK. I wanted to find out if the incident from 3 years ago, if you are looking to see if it had anything to do, maybe damaged, compromised the integrity of this lid, and may have been a resulting factor in this latest accident.
We're certainly, when we do our investigations, they're very comprehensive. We examine not only the immediate events that led to the incident, but we look, as I'm sure if you've looked at our report in the ISOM incident, we look back years earlier to changes or activities that may have led to this. We're certainly looking at issues related to mechanical integrity. We're looking at, we're going to be examining the mechanical integrity condition of the swing bolts that were involved in this incident. We look at a number of things. We haven't either focused on one particular cause or ruled out any causes. We're not reaching any conclusions, but we're trying to update you on our activities as the board and the things that we're going to be looking at and have gathered in the time that we've been here. And I think we've made significant progress. A number of our activities are activities that take time to implement, such as testing, reviewing historical records, examination of evidence, etc.